Hi everybody, this is Diana, aka Pop Culture Diva 42, and this is my review of the first season finale, the first of many, let's hope, of Arrow. And I don't really want to get into a season review because I've already talked a bunch of times about Arrow, and I think my feelings on the show are clear. But if you do want to listen to a review where I talk more about my thoughts on the entire season, then go check out the review that I did with Deadpoolzilla, where we did a review for the first season of Arrow. Regarding the finale, I think that the producers and the writers were very ballsy to end Arrow the way they did. You know, on the one hand, it needed to provide a resolution for the seasonal arcs, and I think it did that in a very unexpected way, at least towards the end, because up until like this the second or third act, the third act, if we're thinking it in like four acts, everything was pretty predictable. We knew that a major confrontation between Malcolm and Oliver was inevitable. Maybe the fact that Moira came on screen and revealed the plans of the undertaking, maybe that took me a little bit by surprise. But I think that was a very good moment for Moira. Uh, I think she did what needed to be done, and I would have liked that to be acknowledged via Walter coming back and telling her that she did the right thing. But maybe that's something that's going to happen in the second season. So yeah, the finale provided a resolution for the undertaking and for what happened on the island. Now, what happened on the island was pretty condensed. It was about explosions. It was more about the action set piece, but it also provided a very important character development very important character moment. No development, just moment. It's not a character development. Damn it. Oliver did something very important on the island in this flashback. He shot his first like arrow to hit the bullseye, and so yeah, the island flashbacks. Now towards the end of the season, I started to get a little bit bored with the island flashbacks, but I think they saved good stuff for the finale. Um, so like I was saying, because I actually had a point. The finale had to provide all these resolutions. They also had to give every character a moment to shine. Now, it didn't really feel, up until Roy Harper's bit, it didn't really feel like it was, oh, now we have to look at this guy, now we have to look at this guy, now we have to look at this guy. Because even though it has an ensemble cast, certain characters work very well together, and certain characters are very well integrated into the plot. But Tia and Roy have been pretty separate since Roy showed up. So when we were hanging out with Roy and Thea in the glades, when all hell broke loose, it did feel a little bit like, oh, now we have to give Roy something heroic to do because it's the end of the season and we have to set him up to be a hero in the second season. And I felt like really helping out a little old guy and like stopping a mugging in the middle of an apocalypse. Like, couldn't they have found something else for him to do? Like, I understand that he knows how to fight, but it's a little generic and it's a little cliche, and it just reeks of contrived plot device. I don't know. I just thought that Roy Harper's crap in the finale just did not ring true to me. It felt contrived, and it felt I don't know, superficial in some way. But outside of that, I think every character had their chance to shine, and every relationship, even Oliver and Laurel, who, let's face it, needed to have their time. And referring to Oliver specifically, he was a little bit all over the place throughout the finale. He kind of gave up on the idea of beating Malcolm, which I think was a good idea to give up on, because Malcolm, outside of being a better fighter, he is more like Batman than Oliver is, and I think that's the reason why he could so easily get away with the fact that he had two devices to bring about the end of the Glades, not just one, which is something so simple and like anybody could think about that. Like, of course, if he can build more than one, he would. Yes. But Oliver, you can make the case that the first season of Arrow is very similar to the first season to the movie Batman Begins, right down to the device that is meant to destroy a city. But Oliver is not Batman. He has not trained his mind since infancy to be like this powerful weapon, and you can get a lot of shit by Oliver because he's not a genius. um, but the thing with his confrontation with Malcolm Merlin is, well, he's not a better fighter. He's not a smarter guy than Malcolm is. The only thing that he has going for him is that he needs to have more willpower. Like, he needs to take a cue from Hal Jordan, who is not the smartest cookie in the jar, but he has the most willpower, and that's why he constantly overpowers his opponents. And Malcolm actually tells him, there's a reason why I keep beating you, is because I want what I want more. I am what I am, and I want what I want. I want it more than you do. And the truth is that throughout the season, Oliver kept getting distracted by shit. When he came on, like in the first couple of episodes, he was all about 100% all about the mission. But then throughout the season, shit just started to come up, and up to the last episode where he was like, I cannot wait for this shit to be over. He could not wait, and then he went to fuck Laurel, obviously. But yeah, he does not want to save the city to the same extent, at least for a while. He did not want to save the city to the extent that Malcolm wanted to destroy it. And Malcolm in this episode, played by John Barrowman, was awesome. He delivered a great performance, and more than his scenes with Oliver, which I think they held a lot of meaning, and they were a long time coming. But his scenes with Tommy were great, in my opinion. And that moment when Tommy flinches, when his dad screams at him that I'll kill them all, they all need to die. It was just great dramatic acting. Like, not over the top. It could be accused of being campy, but I think Malcolm and John Malcolm John Mal, Malcolm slash John Barrowman really needed to sell the idea that this guy is convinced that this is what he needs to do, that this is his calling in life, that this is his destiny. And at least thanks to that scene where Malcolm is explaining shit to his son, they convinced me. Also, somebody that was awesome in this episode is Quentin Lance. Quentin Lance, who is a smart, honest cop in Starling City, has no business diffusing advanced technology, but he freaking did it anyway. Also had a nice little monologue for his daughter. And I think that Quentin Lance, now that he got that stick out of his ass and used it to, beat evil with, he's going to be, I hope he's going to be more like the Jim Gordon character of the show, where he helps out Arrow a little more, not just on the phone and stuff. Like, he actually starts to believe that Green Arrow is a hero and not just a vigilante, not just a menace. Because I think this episode pretty much sets that relationship up very well. And honestly, I think he could be a lot more interesting than Jim Gordon. As much as I like the guy, like, he's an old mustache guy. It's like he can do a great lot now that he's gotten older. But I think Quentin Lance, he could be a pretty badass Jim Gordon if he wanted to. So the episode ended with Tommy dying, and I know we were meant to believe that he would go dark side from the trailers, but I knew he wouldn't. I had faith in the character in the sense that he never showed any kind of inclination towards evil, not once. When he found out about Oliver being Green Arrow, being the Hood, being the vigilante, it wasn't his first concern wasn't that his friend hadn't told him about it, which is something that we see in a lot of these superhero shows, like when they finally find out the secret of. And by the way, in this show, like a lot of people know Oliver's secret. Let's be honest here. Um, but when they find out, it's like, why haven't you told me? How long have you been keeping this secret? But um, with Tommy, it was always like, you've killed people in cold blood, you jerk. That's the thing that he always talked about, that he killed, that Green Arrow kills people, and that is not okay. That is not cool. So from his indignation over the fact that Arrow would take other people's lives into his hands and would play God, that Tommy actually doesn't have a single evil bone in his body. So I never really believed that he would go dark side. And if he doesn't go dark side, what else can happen to him? Well, they can kill him. And he went out like a hero. Like, I think a lot of people that did not give a shit about Tommy up until now have to admit that he did go out like a hero. I wish he didn't necessarily have to go out saving Laurel. Not because I wanted Laurel to die, because I know she will not die. She's important to the mythos. She just needs a lot of work. But I I didn't want. I kind of wanted Tommy to become more than just the guy that Laurel is seeing. So if he could have, if he needed to be sacrificed, if he was the sacrifice that the fucking title is referring to, I wish he would have sacrificed himself in another way, like in something that does not tie him to Laurel again. But I don't think that could have been avoided, honestly. I still think it was very courageous of them to do, if indeed he is dead, which I am not convinced of, by the way. Until I see a funeral, I am not convinced. And the way it ended, like, so, oh, Tommy, open your eyes. I'm not 100% convinced that he is dead, but he did take. He didn't take an arrow to the knee, but he did take a metal rod to the chest. Um, so yeah, and like I said, like the first season of Arrow ends kind of like Empire Strikes Back. Like everything is fucked up. It's not a happy end. It's the kind of end that kind of sticks with you and makes you want to come back for the second season, because things are so fucked up that what more could happen? What more could happen, basically? And I didn't talk at all about Felicity and Diggle in this review. I do think, like always, they work well. I think I did mention at some point that they work well together. Yes, one of my favorite aspects of the show and of the first season is the way that Diggle and Oliver and Felicity work together. And in this episode, we have more of that. We saw Diggle take, was it like a knife to the groin? Or what can I say? The way he got taken out of commission pretty fast. And Felicity is the one that failed the city. Felicity fucked up because she should have known about the second device. And you can kind of see that on her face, the way she completely breaks down after the device goes off. I think that she knows that it's on her what happens. Although, she doesn't have to be a hero, she kind of volunteered for it. But yeah, I think, Felicity, you have failed the city, but you're still, wow, that actually rhymes. You're still goddamn adorable, and I love your lipstick.